anyways, hello and welcome back to the Anime Club, reviewing
Spaghetti Man.
sexually inclined masochism and sadism. I feel like we did not get to see the safe, sane consent form for this BDSM.
I'd argue this might be one of the more safe, sane out there for this. Let's be honest here. Think about what it's competing with.
I let you get away with jokes all the fucking time, and the one time I try to make a joke.
The problem is what's coming out during this season is
I'm not looking at what's coming out during this fucking season, Vorn.
yeah, but it's kind of skewing our stuff. I'm sorry.
Oh my god, what the fuck are you degenerates watching?
We're not watching anything. We're just noticing something.
My god. I just feel disappointment in humanity.
I mean, you probably should.
Here I am watching cute shit.
Here I am watching Domestic Nagatoro.
Well, we knew you were a degen when you showed us it the first time. So, don't toy with me, Nagatoro.
Yes, season 1.
Mm-hmm.
So, story.
It's surprisingly a normal rom-com, just with a slight humiliation fetish.
Yeah.
Look, I'm one of those people who gets like secondhand embarrassment when watching people get embarrassed on TV, so this was painful to watch. Like every single time that something embarrassing happens, I get embarrassed and I'm just like, I'm cringing away from the screen and having to like pause and walk away. I don't know about you, but I do get secondhand embarrassment from people doing stupid, embarrassing shit on screen.
I do, but I end up engaging with it, screaming at them, what the fuck are you doing?
I didn't want to scream at them.
The only moment I really got that, though, in this show was when they were doing the, I almost don't want to say it. I'm embarrassed to say it.
Oh, then fucking say it.
Do it.
The Nagatoro riding a horse, and then the students walk past. That I got some secondhand embarrassment on. I was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? What did you expect to happen?
I just fucking...
Yeah, I don't get like that. I just yell dumbass.
Oh, to be Vorn and not feel secondhand embarrassment.
But there was an isekai episode.
You shut your dirty mouth. We don't talk about that.
Oh.
I love that it was just mocking the entire genericness of isekai.
I mean, to be fair...
Like, that was like Mad Libs every isekai ever plugged in.
To be fair, wasn't there something coming out recently that's mocking isekai?
Oh, isekai is always mocked. It's like the low hanger. It's stupid easy to mock.
No, not... You're completely missing what I mean, so never mind.
I don't think so. Let me actually.
No,
quickly-
don't go look it up. We don't need to go on a tangent Googling what's coming out this season. Or recently. I don't know. I mean, you're right. The format of this show reminded me a lot of the other rom-coms I watch. Like
Yeah.
little arcs and kind of mini things and different jokes and different episodes. And normally I like that. Normally I'm a big fan of that. I've seen it in Wotakoi. I've seen
You're
it
just not a fan of the character dynamic.
Yeah. And I do like this genre, and I do like this kind of just everyday things happening in school. I really do. And I think it does that really well. But much like Snafu, I just didn't like the characters.
Which is fair.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
It's
I mean-
ironic, considering those are pretty much the only two rom-coms I've disliked that I've seen.
Domestic Nagatoro was a rom-com.
I choose
That
not
is
to acknowledge
not
that as
a
anything but
rom-com.
ecchi.
That.
Fucking rom-com, my goddamn non-suppositoried ass. I would rather die than lump that in with the likes of
But ecchi
Wotakoi.
is like a supplementary genre. It's almost more close to
I
shonen.
don't care. I
Like,
would
this is a
rather.
shonen
I
rom-com.
would rather die than
Fruits
put
Basket's a shoujo rom-com.
domestic
Domestic
Nakanojo
Nakanojo is an
in
ecchi
the
rom-com.
same space as Wotakoi. I would rather die.
Look, there are hentai rom-coms. Like, you can go straight up hentai rom-coms. Vorn and Seki just shaking their heads like...
That wasn't
Look,
rom-com. That
no.
was more of a drama.
The joy of a rom-com is the innocent fun of it.
Ah.
Yeah.
the rom-com ceases to become a rom-com and it becomes like a smut drama when full-on hentai is brought into it. Because that's drama.
There ain't nothing dramatic about those hentai rom-coms.
Vorn and I shaking our heads.
Now, when you're talking about hentai rom-coms at that point, either it's hentai, just pure hentai, or it's hentai drama. There is no rom-com.
This anime is not a hentai, though, because very quickly early on, you realize both these people are absolutely, like, the most unsexed people of all time and have no idea what they're doing.
I was going to say, on the topic of non-hentai rom-coms,
Yeah.
is this show, which is... no, I can't say that. I was going to say perfectly child-friendly, but that's a lie.
It's not perfectly child-friendly, but for the premise, it's surprisingly wholesome. Not wholesome, but surprisingly wholesome.
No,
like
perfectly
on the sliding
teen-friendly.
scale of like degeneracy to wholesomeness. It's not at the 0, but it's not any higher than maybe the 10.
It's like more wholesome than you would think, but less wholesome than Seki would like.
Yeah, it occupies the same place as Ishizoku, but doesn't own it as much as Ishizoku does.
Ishizoku is not wholesome.
No, but Ishizoku is like on the opposite side of that like half and half space where it's like Ishizoku is not like reprehensible
nothing
hentai,
wholesome
right?
in there.
Oh no, Ishizoku has wholesome stuff in it.
Like
the old
what
lady.
I remember.
Like the old lady.
That's not wholesome.
That's
just
wholesome.
a gross old woman.
It's wholesome.
No, it ain't.
Or the egg laying.
That's not
Absolutely
wholesome.
not in that context in the show.
Or the fact that they saved the world.
That was just a side thing.
Technically, it's the main part of the manga.
Yeah, but not in that show.
Anyways, back to Nagatoro.
Yes.
So
It's a rom-com. There's not much story to speak of. There's a lot of characterization. Like it does over the time. You do start to get more and more layers to these characters as time goes on. Like, straight up, like early, like in the first 3 or so episodes, you get an understanding that this Nagatoro. Maybe this isn't the correct way to go about it, but Nagatoro's bullying is a sign of affection in its own way.
it's the pigtail pulling.
Yeah,
But
the genders are reversed.
you know what the worst part is? Like, okay.
You don't need to say anything incriminating.
Oh, am I about to get a little bit... Okay. All right. The worst part about this show is if the genders weren't reversed, this would be sexual harassment. The worst part about this show is every single part of this that's characterized as comedy is only comedic because it's a female doing it to a male. If it was the other way around, the show would be unacceptable. It never would have been allowed to be made the way that it's been made. And the fact that we think that it is funny when a girl does it to a man, but sexual harassment when a man does it to a woman is not fair.
Yep, because our world is not fair.
And here's the thing. I'm not using that to characterize my entire opinion of the show. That is not why I gave this a meh. I just think that that's a shitty thing that we see in media that this show, in a lot of ways, perpetuates. This idea that when the woman's doing it, it's funny, it's comedic. It's because she doesn't understand her emotions or how to communicate them. But if it was a man in the same show context, it would be undeniably creepy, sexual harassment. And that's just, it's perception, and I hate it. But that is not why I gave the show a meh. I understand, that a lot of those things just creep into shows. A lot of shows I watch have things that if I were to get really, up on a high horse about like equality and perception and gender stereotypes, a lot of shows I watch would be like down in the fucking dumps for it. You know that.
I maybe can't think of any
But-
examples off the top of my head, but you could flip it around and find similar examples in shows, or at least individual moments.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's be honest here. Hane Oridango does have its moments where it stops taking itself as seriously.
Yeah.
So, like, yikes.
Yeah,
Doesn't
and it's
Vampire
bad
Bride the
there.
same thing?
I don't know. I've not seen it. I don't want to see it, Born.
Okay.
But I mean, it's yikes everywhere. But I think the only reason I bring it up here is because the entire premise of this show is this woman is sexually harassing a man. But it's funny, it's comedic, it's romantic. She doesn't understand. You know, her characterization is that she understands that it's like not cool, but it's the only way that she thinks she can do it. That wouldn't be the case if it was the other way around. This would be very differently perceived even by the anime community as a whole.
Yeah.
But that is not my problem with this show. I want to make that very clear. I understand that perception and this just exist in media in a lot more visible ways because it's harder to nuance media as much as real life, and I just wanted to bring that up and I wasn't sure. But I feel like it's an appropriate criticism, if anything, of the story of this show, is that the story is that she just does not fucking understand and she needs to. But it's a comedy because of it.
Yeah. Actually, how old are they? I think they're in high school, aren't they?
That's arguably worse, but you know.
Yeah.
Japanese high school also starts a little bit later, though. So.
Yeah, because they start
They're
they start in our sophomore year, so
they're
they
the
would have
equivalent.
started at 15.
Senpai there is the equivalent of a junior or senior at the very
It's a
least.
16.
Yeah, so yeah,
That's around where even we start to normally throw in.
Yeah, and I mean, once again, like if you'd looked at if we'd seen a high school anime with the exact same dynamic, but it had been a man treating a girl this way, we wouldn't feel quite so ha about it. I got to be honest, or at least I know I wouldn't, because it wouldn't be perceived the same way. You know, but media, I get it.
Yeah.
You know, I do. I get it. Plus, this is not the only show of a similar ilk. There are a few other shows like this. Isn't Teasing Master Takagi-san very similar, but more fluffy?
Yeah, and also, like, they're
Yeah.
much more younger. I think they're in elementary.
Teasing Master Takagi has a lot less sexual overtones, but it has the same sort of, like, the female as the aggressor. So.
And it's not more like pranks, it's more of games they do.
Yeah, it's less sexual, but it's the same show premise of it's the girl as the aggressor to the man, rather than the man to the girl. So there are shows like this. Don't get me wrong; they're good shows. I'm just saying. I hate being the one who has to get up on the soapbox.
I mean, we could get on that soapbox about other things too.
I know.
Let's grab some of those bodice rippers here and start picking those apart for how creepy those get.
No,
Or
stop it. Stop.
Let's understand here that this is a male fantasy.
You leave my shirtless.
So, like, let's start
men
pulling apart
alone.
the female fantasies now.
You leave my shirtless, kilted fantasy books alone.
Or we could not.
To be fair, once again, those are still actually terrible in a lot of the same ways, because I'm reading books about, like, you know, men who don't wash and beat their wives but are just attractive, so they get away with it. This is why I read fanfiction, everyone, because relationships like that don't happen in fanfiction very often, and when they do, it's part of a hurt-comfort dynamic.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that. This is not the
The
tags I read.
fanfictions you read, you can filter it into fanfiction.
Yeah, you can filter fanfiction. It's the joy of fanfiction. Filter that shit. Take all that crap out.
Great.
Plus, like I said, it's not as if some of the shows I watch don't have terrible fucking shit hidden in them, you know?
Yeah, I got really nothing else to say besides, like, do you want to try getting characters more?
I mean, yeah.
That is like 80% of this show.
Yeah, it's school life, so there's not really a huge plot.
No more plot than any other school life show.
Yeah.
No, and school life shows are school life shows. You get festivals and class time and, you know,
Beach
lunchtime
episode.
and beach episodes.
And festival.
There was like a
I
5-minute
said
beach
festivals
episode,
already.
wasn't there?
Yeah. And sometimes if you're really lucky, you get an actual festival, not just a school festival, but an actual festival.
I think we had both of those here.
Yeah.
It's hard to because this anime is kind of split up like into. It's got the SpongeBob split, where like it's like half an episode of each story.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like there's so many things to go through. Psyche K did this too.
Yeah, Psyche K did it too, but Psyche K was hilarious. Not according to Bakuj.
Yeah.
So characters.
So how about the
trio?
I was gonna start with the main character here.
Oh, okay. The male or the
like regardless of whether or not
Nagatoro. I think we were starting with Nagatoro.
I was gonna start the male.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Like regardless of whether or not Nagatoro's teasing was actually warranted. Let's be honest here. This man is the smallest dick in the world.
Oh yeah. This dude reminds me of the dude from Call Me Can't Communicate sometimes. Another rom-com I like.
I think though that dude at least has a bit more bigger balls.
Look, I'm not gonna get into the size of the genitalia on these high schoolers. As a person who is no longer a high schooler herself, that's not something I want to debate between shows.
You sure? Come on, you're in college.
Yes, which is why I read fan fiction about college age or older. I do not read fan fiction about minors anymore. Because I am no longer a minor. It was not acceptable when I was a minor, but I also don't do it anymore now. This is why we look for adult already hero Boku no Hero fan fiction.
So the character, he's got a few things going on for him other than the fact that he's being literally hit on by a wet noodle.
Yep.
He like that entire artist thing that ends up being the bulk of the actual plot is his attempt to get better at art.
Which was surprisingly nice, you know? Yeah. Like it was nice. It was nice to see a character pursue a hobby outside of teasing.
Yep.
You know? I gotta be honest, every time they did something that wasn't just
okay, the most wholesome moment in the show was when they went and played video games together.
Yeah.
And even then, afterwards, she kind of beat him up over it. In the game and in real life.
Okay, but that's just how people play. That's how people play video games against each other on the couch.
That's entirely true. If I was playing Mario Kart with Nick Nack and he was beating me, it's likely I would elbow him in the fucking kidney.
It's not, like, when you're playing, like, especially at that age, when you're playing games with friends and you're playing competitively, like in a fighting game or a racing game or a party game, it's not uncommon to suddenly start getting into...
I mean, Nick Nack's seen me verbally cuss out Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Imagine if we kept playing until I started physically involving myself in my Mario Kart losses.
As someone who loves friendship ruiner games, that was a very accurate portrayal of gaming.
Yeah.
Monopoly.
Oh.
Well, that was a board game. That's different.
We will never play Monopoly again as a group. I would rather die than play at a Monopoly board where the two of you are playing.
Backroom, underhanded deals, shadow money.
I will not even be the banker at a Monopoly game where you two are playing.
You get an actual lawyer involved for a Monopoly game where the two of us are playing.
We need a Supreme Court judge about this unlawful merger. You are creating a monopoly.
Hey, it wasn't me. It was them doing it.
Wouldn't that be funny if you ran a game of Monopoly with actual like laws and you had to have like dedicated people besides the bank argue about whether or not a purchase was legal and ethical, or whether or not a transaction such as selling property could be done?
Be amazing. It would be amazing.
No, we need
get on it, Hasbro.
No, we need a banker, we need a realtor, and we also need a lawyer. So we can
banker, a realtor, and a lawyer. Yeah. But the lawyer has to cover civil rights, human rights, and monopoly busting.
And what if there was like an entire extra game where you're playing as the banker and you're trying to balance your budget here, where you can actually loan out money and collect loans?
I don't want to consider that, because I think there was definitely one part during the game where I literally could not complete a loan because I didn't have enough money as the banker because of you two bastards. I don't even want to consider. Okay, back to Nagatoro-san. I guess we now need to talk about Nagatoro.
Yes.
She needs therapy. She needs healthy coping mechanisms. Somebody needs to instruct this girl about what is and isn't okay at a high school level.
I mean, we weren't really okay in high school.
No. I was not sexually harassing people in high school.
Yes, but you mentally weren't in a good place either.
I was not, but I also was not provoking humiliation onto men in my life because I liked them.
We did know people that did do that.
And it was fucking terrible. It was the worst. You don't want to be that person. Like, this group of 3 people has survived through some of the worst high school fallouts. Like, no, it's not good. Just because I didn't go to therapy in high school, even though I needed it, doesn't mean we shouldn't have. We needed therapy. We just didn't get it. Nagatoro needs therapy. She's just not getting it.
I think we actually didn't go for the worst of like.
No, we went through some bad shit in high school.
Yeah, but not the worst.
I would argue that, and we're not going to get into the details on the channel. No, we're not going to go there, but I would argue that strongly.
Okay. Because I probably missed stuff because I am dense freaking brick.
Yeah, plus our senior year, you weren't really paying attention to shit.
Oh, yeah. No, you are right.
Yeah.
When did I ever pay attention to shit?
Good question. But so anyway, she needs therapy.
Okay, so Nagatoro is not that bad.
No, but she I kept wanting someone to like pull her aside and like explain to her that like.
So I see, obviously you're not going to the manga. I've heard there's a moment in the manga where she actually does go too far once, and the main character actually like tells her off or like gives her pushback on
I would have respected this show so much more if that had happened even just once. Like, to be honest, like if he had just grown a spine and stood up for himself because she was going too far, I would have respected this a lot more. I gotta be honest.
I think that also, like, if we want to talk about like an actual reality style sense, it's very hard as the band to do that.
I know it is. I believe me, I know. That's part of what I brought up before. Like the perception is that the women can't harass men, right? The perception is that women don't abuse men. Men aren't abused. Men aren't harassed. That's not true. Just because we don't, that doesn't get publicized as often doesn't mean it doesn't happen. And I understand that the lack of publicity and the focus on female victims, there are female victims and they are important, but often that lack of focus means that men don't feel like they can speak out as often, or they're not able to speak out in the same way. And that's bullshit. And I would have respected this manga a whole lot, or this anime, a whole lot more if I had got to see that in this show even once. Like see Nagatoro actually called out for what her behavior is. To be honest, just one time would have really improved my perspective on the show, I think.
At the same time, outside of like the first or maybe even the second interaction, a lot of it is portrayed more as just flirting.
Yeah, just weird flirting.
Look, let's be honest here. We've seen people flirt like that.
That's true. That's very true.
People who don't understand how to flirt like that.
That's very true.
These people do not understand how to flirt.
I cannot pass judgment on other people's flirting. I don't do that flirting thing. Like, I mean, yeah. But him standing up to her would not have improved my rating, because my rating was not necessarily based on this, like, just shitty trope that I don't enjoy very much. So even though it would have improved my opinion on the character, it wouldn't have, drastically changed how I felt about the show. Yeah.
Okay, so
the poor side cast that has to deal with this.
Okay, the side cast is arguably worse than her, though.
I know.
Like, for how bad Nagatoro is, she seems to have, like, she was trying to get the main character to be like, hey, you can push us back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The side cast, though,
it's straight up the Gal style.
Okay, those characters are fucking annoying.
Yeah. They were the worst. I gotta admit, I did not like the supporting cast very much here.
I mean, even the president of the art club is...
The president was kind of funny, but at the same time, I was like, student council, you are right, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Followed through with this. This woman is actually displaying drawn porn of a minor.
Yeah. Yeah. Good Lord. Not a problem I ever thought I'd have to see in high school.
For once, the student council, which is portrayed as overreacting, is not overreacting.
No, they were fully within their rights.
Yeah. Do we want to actually do Waifu Wars?
Waifu Wars. Waifu Wars.
None of them are legal.
That's fair. Warren.
One of the side characters somewhere in the world. I don't know where, but somewhere.
Somewhere other than a high school.
Yeah.
Someone legal. anyone legal.
The teachers?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think we saw a single one of the teachers.
I know, but they exist. It's a school.
Yeah.
I just no.
Anpan. Anpan has that good.
Yes.
Oh,
Anpan.
yes.
Anpan man.
Actually, I kind of want the buns now, like the bean buns. I want one. I'm hungry.
I mean, bean buns are good. Bean buns are very good. So I don't. Do you guys got anything more to say about the story and characters?
Not really.
Not really, no.
All right. So we'll see you back when we move on to free thoughts. Like, comment, subscribe.
Bye, everybody.